Hello and welcome to Streets to Summits, episode 8. So, even though I started working, even though I'm having much less time than I had previously, I'm still staying consistent. This is episode 8. I've been I've been trying to think of something to do for episode 10. I have no idea, probably nothing, but 10 episodes is a small milestone because I think I talked about it in a previous episode where I don't remember like the exact numbers, the exact percentages, but I think that 90 to 99% of podcasts don't make it over 3 episodes. And then out of the ones that make it, a very small percentage makes it to episode 10. And then out of that pool, again, a very small percentage makes it to episode 20. So I'd say, considering, that this podcast is getting most of the time 0 views and 0 listens on Spotify, I'd say I'm keeping my enthusiasm pretty high up, considering, this is not really going well, but, again, I do this because I enjoy it. I've been, sitting and trying to figure out, how to make my room maybe into a tiny bit more, looking like a tiny bit more of a studio and make it, nicer to look at. I've been trying to figure out ways to improve audio, which I don't know what I'm gonna do because right now I'm filming it on a GoPro. So I could buy myself a GoPro microphone, wireless, which I think they started making recently. But GoPro is not exactly ideal for podcasts because it gets hot quickly, so that's the downside. But on the other hand, all of my other videos for Perevia, for my personal channel, they would, have an increase in audio quality. So I'm gonna, figure that out as time goes on. I really want to, improve the podcast audio, video quality, make it more enjoyable to listen and to watch. So, you know, time will show. But basically, what I wanted to talk about today is the video that I filmed quite a while ago, where I went for a drive without no GPS. Only, I had a small piece of paper as my GPS. And what I found out by doing it is, I am pretty bad at noticing things while I'm driving, especially road signs, which is really bad. But when I was driving with no GPS and when I had only a piece of paper, a small piece of paper as my GPS, it really made me look into, everything, every single road sign, every single, the sign that shows, the distance that's left to this town. It was honestly quite a bit of fun. And I think, I improved my noticing skills, if that's even a thing. So, I'm up for doing maybe, a tiny bit more challenging video, like the same, but take up on a bigger challenge because the one that I did previously is basically I found like a pizza place, which was like, I don't know, like I think 80 kilometers from where I live, which was like a good 1 hour drive one way. And it wasn't really difficult. It's just I had to, pay attention to not miss a turn or something like that. But, otherwise it was actually quite simple. I think I had to take a total of like maybe 3 turns, like actual turns. So, it wasn't exactly the most difficult thing to do, but it was actually quite a bit of fun. So, again, I'm really down on doing it again. Now, when I drove to that city, to that town, I don't know what separates city from a town. It's like not a big city or a big town, but that's not the point. But basically, I went out and I wanted to grab myself a pizza. I found a pizza place with a lot of good reviews, and I went there, and there was an actual Italian guy, making pizzas. He spoke really well in Lithuanian. Of course, he had a pretty thick accent, but he spoke well. And all of the pizzas were really expensive, but they were really expensive because they weigh 2 kilos each. They're not, I think they're like, I don't know, like good 30, maybe 35 centimeters, like wide. No, not wide. You get the idea, 35 centimeters across. I don't know how to say it properly. But basically, I bought a margarita because it was the cheapest one, because the cheapest one was 14 euros. And, I saw that the pizza place is really, really busy. But I remember, like, I grabbed the pizza, I start walking back, I'm walking back to the car, I'm all like happy. And I open up the box and it wasn't cut. So I was like at first confused. I imagined the guy was like really in a hurry and just forgot to cut it. But I remember like trying to like lifting each, like I was lifting the pizza all the way around because I was like, it surely has to be cut. But I started like, I lifted the, one part of it, and yeah, I couldn't see a single cut. So then I was like immediately disappointed. And I started, tearing into the pizza just bit by bit, and it was really good. I didn't eat a lot of it. I came back home, I microwaved it, which, of course, it takes away the taste of it, but it still was really, really, really good. And it was really cool, like eating a pizza made by an actual Italian guy. Because I love pizza and I love Italy, even though I've never been there. And I would love to, to like go to Italy and eat like a good Italian pizza. And I'm not talking about like something, like Rome or I don't know, like Naples, where there's like tons and tons of tourists. I would love to go somewhere, a tiny bit off from all of the touristy places. A tiny bit, I would like to go where, it's, I don't know how to say it, like it's more raw, I'd say maybe. Basically, something a tiny bit more authentic. Because I think, when there is a city or a place where it's just made for tourism, it loses its authenticity. And it would be really cool to like go to Italy and just find, like maybe a little quiet town, with not a lot of people, with all of its authenticity, and just, eat an actual good Italian pizza. I would love to do that. Now, honestly, speaking of Italy, whenever I speak about goals, most of the time they don't come true. So maybe I shouldn't speak about them, but I think I already done it in, I don't know which episode, maybe sixth, fifth. Um, I would love to climb Gran Paradiso, which is in Italy, next summer. So if I would do that, well, I would have a great chance, you know, on eating a good Italian pizza, just expanding the trip a tiny bit, not only climbing a mountain, but maybe experiencing Italy a tiny bit. So that would be really, really cool. Now, moving on from that, um, this is not really meant for this podcast, but I've been playing a bit of Assassin's Creed Recent. And honestly, I didn't have enough time to play it quite a bit. I played it for only an hour, but I can already say that the game looks amazing. And what I love is the combat system. I haven't had enough time to like actually like really get into it, but from the fights that I had, I really, really enjoy it. And I think that, I am quite busy right now. I'm still like working 40 hours a week. I'm trying to, to do this podcast and, do stuff on my own personal channel. But I'm really looking forward on playing Assassin's Creed Recent more because I like in an hour I fell in love with the combat system, which doesn't really happen often for me because as I said, I have played, video games for a long ass time and I spent a lot of hours gaming and nothing really like I don't want to say nothing surprises me, but I'm like, you know, I'm used to most of the things, but that combat system, it's really, really good. And I do enjoy playing the game, even though I only had an hour into the game. But yeah, there's probably gonna be quite a few more hours spent in it. Now, what else I want to talk about is e-foiling, which this is one of the coolest things where I really want to try it. I don't really have a chance to do so because the nearest place, I found only one rental place for e-foiling, and it's quite ways away, but it seems so much fun. And I have my paddleboard, and it's a tiny bit too boring for me. You can't really go fast paddleboarding. It's really, really chill, which if you are into that type of stuff, if you're like into just a really chill and calm, time on the water, paddleboarding is great, but I want something a tiny bit faster where, my heartbeat could go up, a tiny bit of adrenaline. And that, but like I was looking into e-foils and they're like, I found used one, a single like used one, and the cheapest one was 2,500 euros, which is really expensive. And when you start looking into less used ones, they go to like 5, 6, 7,000. When you start looking at new ones, they're like 9, 10, 11,000. So this is one of those things where I would love to try it. I would love to do it. I don't really have a chance to do so now. But one day I'm definitely gonna get it. It seems so much fun to just rip around in the water because like they go pretty fast. I think they can reach like 30 kph, 35 maybe. Maybe others go even faster. And speaking of things that I would love to do, I would love to own, and I don't have enough money for is what is it called? I forgot. Jetson One, I think. The drone that you use yourself to fly. Now, it seems insanely fun, and it's insanely expensive. And I think there's no rules right now. You can just jump in it and just fly wherever you want, but I think if like more people get it in the future, like it will have to have some sort of like, like how do I say it? It will need to be the only word that comes to my mind is tracked, but I don't want to say tracked. But it will need to be like kept, behind some sort of rules because there's definitely gonna be people crashing into other people. But right now it seems such a fun thing, just jumping in and just flying around. I don't know how far they can go and for how long they can go, but they seem insanely fun. Like imagine just like I just like all right, so for example, like me and my friends, sometimes we just go into some like random parking lot just to hang out, just to talk and just like you just jump into your drone and you just fly there. Or like I don't know, like evening cruising is something that I really enjoy. Like jumping into a car, just turning on music and just, going for a cruise. Imagine going to like Sunday evening flying. What would be the what's okay, so cruising is like really chill way of driving. What would be really chill way of flying? Like yeah, it's a Sunday evening. I'm just gonna jump into my drone and just go out flying for a bit. That seems an insane amount of fun. And so yeah, these are two things that I would love to at least try. Air Jetson One, I think it's called, the flying drone. It's not called a drone, but I keep forgetting what it's actually called. And then e-foil. But like I don't even know how much the Jetson One costs, but I think it's well over 100,000. So yeah, no chance in getting that. But an e-foil is probably possible. I don't know, maybe in 2 years, I'd say. So yeah, a bunch of stuff that I want to try out. Maybe I got my car back actually, so maybe this Friday I'm finally gonna be going to film something for Perevia. I neglected Perevia accidentally, No new content there for a while, but I really want to do something cool. So now I finally got my car back, so I'm gonna try to figure out, something fun, something cool. I have a day off on the Friday, which is gonna be the day after this episode releases. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to, film something cool, make some cool content. And other than that, yeah, there's not much else going on. Work is, work is making things difficult actually, which is, a tiny bit sad because I reached the point right now where I am busy enough where I really need to start choosing things. Like, all right, so I'm working, so cannot leave that. I'm making content, cannot leave that, because I really like doing it. So basically, either I have to like sacrifice, like something that I just enjoy, maybe movies or gaming. Sometimes I have to say no to, hangouts because I'm either like editing or filming or doing whatever. So, it sucks that this, like Perevia and this podcast, it's all about, having fun and exploring and just enjoying life. But right now, I am at a point where if I want to grow this, I need to say stop for the things that I enjoy, which is kind of counterintuitive because, yes, I'm trying to build something that is about exploring, about enjoying life, about having fun, about seeing new places. But at the same time, by trying to grow this, I am so busy that I need to basically, from time to time, just cancel some things and say, no, I cannot go to the cinema this evening. I cannot go hang out. I cannot do this because right now I'm working. So this is like some sort of like a stupid loop where I I'm trying to promote a thing that I cannot do because I am promoting it. I don't know if this makes sense, but it makes sense in my mind. So, yeah, it is what it is, but I'm really hoping that this can grow into something big, especially Perevia. I don't really care about myself, but Perevia as a brand, I really hope that it can grow into something big one day. Um, I guess it's gonna be enough for episode 8. You know, um, I really, I had like, when I was thinking about this podcast, I really had things in mind that I'm gonna do in this podcast, like segments, but right now it's just no segments in this show. It's just me just chilling and yapping and just talking about whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be it for episode 8 of Streets to Summits. Check out Perevia's channel on YouTube. Check out perevia.store for clothing. Other than that, don't stop exploring, don't stop enjoying life, and see ya in the next one.